Hello all, TYates here with my presentation for MTHD 805 on the research study plan for the Doctor of Healthcare Administration here at Franklin University. Let's start with the research problem. In 2014, it was estimated that $60 billion was lost to fraud, waste, and abuse in Medicare alone. Current prevention methods revolve mostly around audits with varying degrees of effectiveness. This study is different in that it will use a real-world application to study claims data and statistical analysis to interpret that data. On to the research question: to what extent can post-care patients in Maricopa County, Arizona, estimate medical fraud? And a sub-question to that is whether the application of a blockchain solution can be effective at preventing fraud, waste, and abuse in a healthcare setting. Research design and method. We are planning on using a quantitative design with a quasi-experimental method as opposed to a survey. The study will be limited to members of a Medicare HMO in Maricopa County, Arizona, and the groups will be divided in two, Group A and the control group, which is B. The plan is to gather data on claims. For the data collection plan, data will be collected for both groups for 6 months to provide a baseline. At the end of the baselining period, Group A will receive the treatment. Now, the treatment consists of two steps. One, the member is outfitted with a mobile device application called a DAP, or distributed application, that is tied to a Hyperledger blockchain application to track claims data. Blockchains are immutable sources of the truth, so no changes to the history it records can be made as time goes on. Members will be coached to evaluate claims data entered with them as the subject and to flag any suspicious claims. Then, step 2, at the same time the members are getting their DAPs, the providers for Group A will be informed that some of their patients may have opted into the program and their participation in the study will be measured. Efforts will be made to keep Group A and Group B data separate. So any members of either group that either unwittingly or intentionally cross over into the other group's providers will have their data removed from the study. Claims data will be gathered for both groups for another 6 months, at which time the pre- and post-treatment statistical analysis of the mean, standard deviation, and range will be compared for statistical significance. Now, the parameters for statistical significance cannot be declared prior to the study, as Group A is an opt-in group, and researchers cannot know the number of opt-ins prior to the experiment. The independent variable is post-care patients in Maricopa County, and the dependent variable is claims amount data. Ethical issues may arise and will be dealt with in several ways. First, a review and approval will be sought by the Franklin Institutional Review Board. The health plan leadership approval to view the claims data will also be sought. Researchers will fully disclose the study's purpose to the Group A participants and allow them to withdraw without consequence at any time during the study. Finally, the study results will be delivered transparently to ensure truthfulness. To ensure the validity of the data collection, researchers will take into account interaction of selection and treatment and the interaction of setting and treatment. Now, these are both concepts from Creswell that guard against using results from the study to generalize to other sectors of healthcare outside of a Medicare HMO that is not being studied. Also, statistical conclusion validity will be paid close attention to where proper statistical methods are applied to interpret the data. As for reliability, the only method we really have to prove this concept would be to repeat the study. On the topic of validity, there are both internal and external concerns, and internal threats to validity are the diffusion of treatment, and to guard against that, we're going to keep Group A and B as separate as possible. Group A will be the eastern side of the county, Group B the western side of the county, and there can be crossover, but we have ways to deal with that, as mentioned before. Another internal threat is resentful demoralization, where one group is resentful that the other group got the treatment, and we will be able to show that regardless of which group got the treatment, that both groups will benefit long term. An external threat to validity, interaction of setting and treatment again, and we just have to resist generalizing the results to other groups that are not being studied. Some of the references that we relied on for this presentation, and I thank you very much for listening.